Okay, so in this video, we're going to be talking about the slope-intercept equation, which that slope-intercept equation should seem very familiar to you. It is that y equals mx plus b. And remember, the m is your slope, and the b is your y-intercept. And your slope may be a fraction, and your y-intercept is where you cross the x-axis. Okay. So, first we are going to identify if this is linear or not linear and justify why. Identify m and b, and then write the equation. So first, and remember, depending on what we are given is what our justifying will be. So this is linear, and that is because it's in a straight line. And we're allowed to say that because we are given the graph. So m and then b. So our b value is where you cross the, oh, sorry, this is supposed to be the y-axis, not the x-axis. The y-axis. So that is at 1, 2, 3, 4. Now when we do this, we're going to pick our 2 points, any 2 points, and go from one to the other. Make sure you're going from left to right. So 1, 2. So I went down 2, so that is minus 2, and then over 1. So negative 2 over 1, or just negative 2. Make sure this is in simplest form. And then we need to write the equation. So y equals our m, so negative 2x, plus our b value, which is 4. So if you're having trouble finding your m and your b value, make a table. Okay. So, number 2. This is non-linear, and that's because it's not a straight line. So if it's not linear, then you're not going to have to find the linear change or the equation, because you can't. So that's all that you have to do there. Okay, so I want you to do number 3 on your own. Okay, number 4. So these, if they give you the equation, then you obviously don't have to write the equation, so you only have to do steps 1 and 2. So step 1, is this linear or not? Yes, this is linear. and that is because it's in our y equals mx plus b form. So our m is the negative 2/5, and the b is the 9. Okay, I want you to do number 5 on your own. And then number 6, so this is non-linear, and that's because it has an x squared. So again, we don't have to put what m and b are because this is not linear. Okay. So for a table, okay, we have to see if this is linear or not. So first we would see what we are adding or subtracting by. So plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, and plus 2. So this side is linear. Let's check this one. Plus 2, plus 2, plus 2, and plus 2. So this is linear. And that is because the x and the y values have a constant adding pattern. So then we need to find our m and our b value. So m is just our pattern, so the y's over the x's, so that's 2 over 2, which just ends up equaling 1. And then our b value, so this is when our x value is 0. So it's this point right here. So the y is 8, making b 8. And then we need to write our equation. So y equals 1x plus 8, or you can just write that as y equals x plus 8. Either one is fine. Okay. So, number 8. So first I need to see if this is linear or nonlinear. So from 7 to 4 I subtract 3. From 4 to 3 I subtract 1. So right now I can already tell that this is going to be nonlinear. And that is because the y values don't have a constant subtracting pattern. But that's all that I have to do. Okay, so I want you to do number 9 on your own. Okay. So then writing equations in slope-intercept form. So we've got some steps that we're going to want you to follow. And then this is if you're given a point and the slope. So there's a couple different ways how to do this depending on what you're given. So this is when you're given a point and a slope. So 1, you're going to plug in the slope and the point into your slope-intercept equation, which is the y equals mx plus b. So the slope is just your m value, and then this is going to be your x and your y. So if you've got your y equals x plus b. So you're plugging in your 3 for y, your 1/2 for m, your 2 for x plus b. So then step 2, you are going to solve for b. So 3 equals 1/2 times 2 is just 1 plus b. So I'm going to subtract the 1 on both sides, so 2 equals b. And then the third and last thing that you're going to do, which a lot of students forget, so don't forget this, is to rewrite the equation. So now you have m, they actually gave you m, and you have b. So you just need to now write your equation in that slope-intercept form. So y equals your m, which they gave you, 1/2 x, plus your b, which we just found was 2. Okay, so if we do that again, so we are going to rewrite this into our slope-intercept equation. So 2 equals our m, which is -2, times our x plus b. So 2 equals -2 plus b. So I'm going to add 2 on both sides. So 4 equals b. So y equals -2x plus 4. Okay, so you go ahead and do letter C on your own. Okay, so now how to write this when you are given 2 points. So, some steps to follow. First, you are going to calculate the slope. So that slope formula, remember, is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay. So here, you can pick any 2 of these points. It doesn't matter. So let's just pick this one and this one. So on this one, you could plug it in, or we know how to find the slope because we are actually given the graph. So we can just go ahead and go 1, 2. So this is going up 2, and then to the right 1. So our m is going to be 2 over 1, or just 2. Then step 2 is you are going to plug in your slope and your point, and it doesn't matter which point, into your y equals mx plus b. And that is to find your b. Now again, we are given the graph here. So we know that b is where we cross the y-axis, which is at this point here. So our b is going to be 3. I'll show you how to actually do the steps on letter B. So step 3 would be to solve for b. And then step 4 would be now to rewrite the equation. So this one would be y equals m, which is 2x plus b. Okay, so let's do this with this one. So first we need to calculate our slope. So we've got x, y, x, and y. This is our first point, and then this is our second point. So y2 is negative 8, minus y1 is 6, over x2, which is negative 2, minus x1, which is 5. So negative 8 minus 6 is negative 14, and negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7, which negative 14 divided by 7 is 2. So 2 negatives make a positive. So now I'm going to take that and one of my points. Now it doesn't matter which point. I personally like to stay away from negatives or fractions or anything like that because we tend to make more mistakes with those. So I'm going to choose this first point, the 5, 6, because those aren't negative. Now again, it doesn't matter. And I'm going to plug those into my slope-intercept equation. So y I chose was 6 equals the m that we just found was 2 times the x, which is 5, plus b. So 6 equals 10 plus b minus the 10. So that is negative 4 equals b. So y equals 2x minus 4. Okay, so I want you to do letter C on your own. Okay. Then graphing in slope-intercept form. Okay, so what we need to know before we do that. So first, again, that equation y equals mx plus b. So your b is where you are going to start. And this is, you are going to start on your y-axis. And then your m is then from your starting point, where you're going to either go up if it's positive, or down if it's negative, and then you are always going to go to the right. Okay. So these are the problems from the equations that we just did. So we found that this was the y equals 1/2 x plus 2, y equals negative 2x plus 4, y equals 1x plus 2, y equals 2x minus 4, y equals negative 2/3 x plus 1. Okay. So you are going to start with this number right here on your y-axis. So right here is our positive 2. Then I'm going to go up 1 because that's positive, and then to the right 2 because we always go to the right. So up 1 to the right 2, up 1 to the right 2. And please go all the way across your graph, otherwise it might not be straight. Now to get some points down here so that we can go all the way across from our graph, we are going to do the opposite. So instead of going up 1 to the right 2, I'm going to go down 1 to the left 2. And now I'm all the way across the graph. So I'm going to go ahead and connect my points.